There is a group in town called Transition Charlottesville-Albemarle. Some people refer to it as Transition Seville. And it's a fairly new group, and one of the focuses this year during the spring and summer was for backyard gardens. And this is it's not really new, but the emphasis on it has really gotten a boost because of the economy we're in. So we're going to take a look at least one backyard garden, hopefully two, and find out the pluses and minuses and just get sort of an overview of how much you can actually produce in your backyard. And to do that, we're going to ask Anne-Marie Hohenberger, one of the local coordinators for Transition Seville, to sort of give us a tour.
Hey, I'm Anne-Marie. I've been working with Transition Charlottesville-Albemarle for almost a year now, and we've got a lot of different projects that we've got our hands in and ideas that we're working with, but the overall idea is to move beyond the crises of climate change and peak oil by relocalizing our economy, doing what we can in our own backyards, and joining together with our neighbors to create a thriving lifestyle that doesn't depend on cheap energy. So this is my backyard garden. My husband and I have been working this plot for a few years now, and what I found is that really everything just takes a little time. You got to get started, see how things work out. First year maybe things are going to get eaten by the bugs, or you don't know when to plant them, but after a while you learn. So this is our strawberry patch. We got a lot of good berries out of that this year. We've got a granddaddy rosemary that's been thriving for years. Sort of in the transition right now between the summer garden and the fall garden. So you can see the tomatoes are finishing up. We've got a few still on the plants. Peppers are still thriving. We've got a ton of hot peppers there, and all of those were raised from seed by our neighbor who has a special interest in heirloom peppers and tomatoes. As you come around the garden here, we've got a couple of fruit trees. There's a sour cherry here, some nasturtiums and marigolds at the base. Those are companion plants that tend to help bring in some beneficial insects for their plants, and so this is the first year I've planted those. I'll be trying to expand that for next time. We've got some kale plants here that are getting a little bit eaten up by the bugs, and next to them is a spot where I've planted some kale seeds, and hopefully those will pop up sometime soon now. As we come on down the path a little bit, these wood chips, by the way, all came from a free pile where the local tree guys drop them off, so that's a really nice local resource. My mustard greens are thriving. Those are very happy. Those have just been in for a couple of weeks. We've got some Swiss chard there down at the end of the row, one which has been growing for 2 years, and the other ones are just planted. And as we come down the hill, we've got a few more winter greens. We've got bok choy and broccoli here. Got some cabbage over on the right, and this is the first time that I've planted a fall-winter garden, so I'm excited to see how those things turn out and what we get over the winter.
Do you have a compost pile?
We do have a compost pile, and that's been something that has been really nice for me, just not to have to throw all those vegetable scraps into the garbage and send them out on a truck. That's just at the top of the hill by our garden if you want to take a look.
Sure.
Some people get pretty fancy with their compost piles. We're very laissez-faire about it. Everything just basically goes in a heap. We did build a bin to sort of contain everything. In the middle is where we throw our weeds and trimmings and vegetable scraps. On the left is mostly a mix of grass clippings and some leaves. This fall we're hoping to get a truckload of leaves from the city when they do their fall pickup so that we can let those compost over the course of a year or two and have some really nice leaf mold that'll make a great additive for the garden.
Now I understand you have something over to my left as well.
I sure do. We actually had some folks from the Blue Ridge Permaculture Network come out this spring, help us design a couple of things and show us how to plant berms and swales, which is a permaculture concept that is meant for catching water as it runs through the landscape. It helps to prevent storm runoff going into the streams and causing sediment. It also stores water for the future in a very low-tech way. So we've got a couple of those. The swale is a ditch that collects the water, and the berm is a hill that's on the downhill side that just lets the water soak in. So we've got 3 of those here.
So if you have a place that really has a lot of runoff, that would be perfect for this.
Exactly, yeah, and that's what we use it for. We've got a hill that had a lot of water running down toward our neighbors behind us. So we've got a persimmon here that came from Edible Landscapes, and that's planted with some vincas along the side of it. Down here we've got a couple of filberts.
So how much would you produce? Say in the garden you have here, would it be enough for 2 people over maybe half a year?
My hope is that it will be. In the past year or so, we've had enough to supplement our diet throughout the summer with some nice fresh vegetables. We love the tomatoes and peppers especially. I kind of laugh that we always end up with a salsa garden, but we love salsa, so that's not so bad. As I learn more about gardening, each year the yields get better, and with the size garden that we have got prepped here with some good soil, some compost that we brought in from Panorama Pay Dirt, you could definitely produce enough vegetables to fulfill most of your veggie requirements for a household of 2.
Well, Anne-Marie, thank you very much for the tour, and good luck next year, or through the fall, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for coming, Bob.